Full meeting for July 21st. We'll start with the roll call.
Anderson,
Here.
Bonnet,
Here.
Burnett, Marie,
Here.
Flaherty,
Here.
Fisher,
Here.
Gansky, Hiley, here, Keel,
Here.
Olson,
Present.
Perkins,
Here.
Wild, here, Yuds,
Here.
Zop.
Here.
And let the record show that Alder Gansky did tell us he was going to be gone tonight. So can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and silent deliberation? Flag of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next up, we have our informal public hearing. This is an opportunity for anyone who would like to speak to council, either online or in person, to come forward. So is there anyone who would desire to speak to common council this evening? And last call, anyone who wants to speak to council? Okay, then the informal public hearing is closed. That brings us to announcements. Any alders have items that they would like to bring forth? Yeah, Alder Burnett.
Yeah, we got the Nation of Patriots this coming weekend, Saturday afternoon. There's a small parade through town with the motorcycles and ends up out by 6th Gear.
And do you know the route, like if people wanted to go see it?
I know we're coming into Beaver Dam on G,
Okay,
and I don't have it right offhand.
okay, but we can probably find that. Good. Wonderful. Thank you.
Is-
Great organization.
The flag is coming from Fenimore. We'll be coming in on 151 to G.
Yeah, a great group. Okay, good. Any other announcements? Okay, I have just a few. First, I just want to let you know that if you have missed out, there still are 2 more Wednesday night live music sessions at the Swan City Bandshell and 2 more jams by the Dam, one on July 23rd and one's on August 22nd. So summer, I know it's half over, but there's still time to get out there and enjoy the music. The next thing I want to, if you're unaware about the exciting things happening with our community library, that when they were researching their remodeling process and looking at the costs, what they discovered is that it's actually most cost effective rather than trying to operate the library while construction is going on. It actually is more cost effective for them to move to a temporary location so that the construction process can go quickly and cost less money. So the last day of operation at the current location will be August 2nd, and then they'll be closed until September 2nd as they move a large amount of items from the current library to their temporary location, which is at 1701 North Spring Street, the old Bassett Furniture Store, for those of you who've been around a while. It's right next door to the Noble Community Clinic. And they will be there until construction is completed. Construction will start in September and go for hopefully 6 to 9 months. We all know how that can go, but yeah, so if you are planning on returning things to the library, I was told you don't have to worry about returning them now. You can return them to the new temporary location in September, so you have longer to read those books. Okay. Couple other things. I just wanted to give council members a heads up. The first Monday in September is Labor Day. So our first council meeting in September will be the following Monday on September 8th. The Monday after that, September 15th, will be our budget workshop. And then I think we're going to, fingers crossed, maybe just limit ourselves to those 2 meetings in September. If need be, we can have a second council meeting. There are 5 Mondays in September, so we would still have time for a second council meeting if needed. But those are the only 2 meetings for now on the calendar. So it'll be the second Monday will be a council meeting, and the third Monday will be our budget workshop. And then finally, last but not least, transition team members. We will be meeting on Tuesday, the 29th of this month. So alders, if you have any questions, concerns, suggestions about the candidate search process, please let us know, because we'll be meeting on the 29th to get ready for potential candidate interviews on August 13th. So that's coming up. So very good. Okay, anything else? Any other announcements? Okay, then next is, oh, I'm sorry.
It's not terribly urgent, but
Yeah.
you mentioned the two concert series in town. I know of a third I'd like to mention and put into people's ears. The one on Tuesday nights at Disciple Center for the Arts. And that happens every Tuesday, I believe, through the end of July. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. And it's a beautiful location to sit in the gardens and listen to the music. So I definitely encourage you to attend those. Next up, disposition of the minutes from our last meeting on July 7th. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes as printed? Alder Burnett,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
thank you. How about a second? Alder Doherty? Flaherty?
Excuse me. Yes,
Excuse
a
me.
second.
Thank you. Any questions, discussion, corrections? All those in favor of approving the minutes of our last meeting as printed in your packet, so signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Very good, the minutes pass. Next up is our city administrator report.
Good evening, everyone. Just a quick update on some things I shared with you a few meetings ago, the strength of your department head team that I know you know. And tonight's agenda, I think, is a good reflection of that. You have online two consultants that have worked with our teammates, your team. Harry from Ellers. I was on a call, a Moody's call rating with the team, and they did a great job in advance preparing for that call. We were able to maintain the rating of A1, and the rater came back as head nod to the future, continued positive trend, assuming those trends. And I know you hear this sometimes, but I really feel like this is real, and that it's probably a couple of years in a row, and then after that, again, assuming the trends continue in a positive direction, there's a solid chance for an improved rating for the future. I would say as early as 2026. I just wanted to share that. Good job to everybody involved with the development preparation, financial preparation of that. And then the grant that you're going to hear more about and hopefully accept in some fashion tonight, that is no small feat to receive a DNR stewardship grant to that extent. You have been online from MSA, but Todd and his team have led that grant application process, and really a chance to continue to improve parks projects around here at a really high level. And then the last thing that I'll mention, share, and answer any questions that you might have of me, but the applicants, we are receiving applicants for the next city administrator position. I was confident that with the exciting things that are going on within Beaver Dam, the process here in place being a sound one, and just a all around improving landscape of the city, that we would receive quality applications, and that's rung true. We're approaching 20 applications. I would say 10-ish, half of them are solidly in the meeting of the parameters that you put out in advance. So it'll be a fun, complicated, difficult process for the transition team when they meet next week to begin to talk through those applicants and prepare for the ultimate in-person interviews that are pending as well. So you should have a save the date on that, and I look forward to working with you all on that continued process. Let me know if there are any questions, and you know how to get a hold of me outside of tonight's meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, Jay. Any communications?
There are none this evening.
Thank you, Tracy. Next up is the approval of the bills from July 4th to July 17th in the amount of $1,582,280.28. Can I get a motion? Alder Zapp.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Thank you. And a second? Alder Wild.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Questions, comments? We have Kayla here if you are curious about anything. Okay, all those in favor of approving the bills, so signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the bills will be paid. Next up, Resolution 72.
Resolution number 72-2025, a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of 4,905,000 general obligation promissory notes, Series 2025A.
Okay, and for this item, we have Harry Allen from Ellers, who is with us on Zoom. Good evening, Mr. Allen.
Good evening. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, we are.
Perfect. Good evening, everyone. So today we have good news about the GO note sale that occurred earlier this morning. If you recall, council took action previously to set this GO offering into motion. The city is borrowing to fund street improvement projects as well as water and sewer projects. And so this morning we set a time for underwriters to give us their best price, and we ended up getting 5 bids on the transaction. Anytime you get 3 or more, we consider that a very competitive sale. So that's good news. Overall, we saw the bids be pretty close, but the lowest bid came in at 4.19%, and that winning bidder was Baird out of Milwaukee. And in their bid, they included what's known as a bid premium, which is good news for the city. It means they're paying you more than the par amount of debt that you're issuing. So we're actually able to decrease the debt issue size by about 65,000. So that's where you get that reflected par amount today of 4,905,000. And then we did restructure the debt to really keep things the same as they were in that pre-sale run that was attached to that initial resolution that was adopted by council. So keeping those payments level over the term. The total net principal and interest here over the full repayment term of the debt is 7.27 million. So that's roughly 200,000 lower than what we had expected with our pre-sale. So again, very good news. Jay alluded to this earlier, but the city did go through a rating update with Moody's. The rating came back at that A1 level that the city was at previously. There is a lot of talk about an upgrade. Hopefully that does come here soon in the next couple of years with some sustained success from the city. But given that A1 rating, the underwriter did go through and purchase bond insurance on this. So there will be a AA rating assigned to this, and the underwriter is paying the cost of acquiring that insurance. And the winning bid did include some term bonds, so the city will be using a paying agent on this transaction. That's pretty much all I had. Overall, very good news for the city today.
Thank you, Aaron. I just want to draw council's attention to, rather than looking, if you're looking at the documents that are in your packet, Tracy sent out a updated resolution about 4 o'clock that has the most current numbers that Harry is talking about. So if you're looking at the actual numbers, the ones in your packet are not the most current. The ones in your email that you just got from Tracy are. So good, thank you. Questions or comments? Yeah, Alder Anderson.
It's more of a comment, but I was just a request, wondering if since we've done the ratings call or whatever through Moody's, so wondering if we had a history of that we could share with the council, because there's a lot newer, like maybe like the past 10 or 15 years, what it's been each year. So you say it hasn't changed, but I wonder when the last time it did change was.
Yeah, I can work with Kayla on that. I'm not sure that either of us know out of the
Yeah.
gate, but we'll work on it and then share the results of the rating call too with you all. I think that might be helpful. Good,
Right.
interesting read.
Good. Other questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, then can I get a motion for this resolution? Alder Yads.
I'll make that motion.
So motion to approve resolution 72. Can I get a second? Alder Zapp.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Then we are ready to call the roll.
Anderson,
Aye.
Bonnet,
Aye.
Burnett,
Aye.
Paree,
Aye.
Flaherty,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Hiley. Aye. Keel,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Perkins.
Aye.
Wild. Aye. Yads,
Aye.
Zop.
Aye.
And the motion carries. Thank you very much, Harry.
Thank you.
Next item is resolution number 73.
Resolution number 73 2025, a resolution awarding the contract for the County Highway B, County Highway W, and Hemlock Road Water Main Extension Project.
Okay, Todd, do you want to speak to this one? Is that you?
Sure. So this is the second phase of the public utility extension project for the big data center on the north side of town. We'll be extending from our water main on Hemlock Road at 151, west on Hemlock. That'll head south on W and east on B, where we'll connect back in right near Kellum Road. All in all, it's about a 13,000-foot extension of water main pipe. So it's, we publicly bid the project. We had 8 bids on the project, so highly competitive. Came in right around where we were expecting as far as the low bid. Low bid was $2,693,791. So we do recommend awarding that to the low bidder, which was RG Schmidt of Montello. As far as the funding for the projects provided by the developer per developer agreement. Once this gets approved by council, we'll make a deposit request to the developer and they front all that money before we even start.
Good. Any questions for Todd? Alder Zop?
Do we have a history with this contractor, Todd?
We have a long history. The past several years, they've gotten all our underground work on our street projects, so we know RG Schmidt for really well.
Good, thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion? Thank you, Alder Bonnet. And a second, Alder Perkins?
Second.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to call the roll.
Bonnet,
Aye.
Burnett,
Aye.
Paree,
Aye.
Flaherty,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Hiley. Aye. Keel,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Perkins.
Aye.
Wild. Aye. Yads,
Aye.
Zop.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
So the motion carries. Next up, resolution number 74.
Resolution number 74 2025, a resolution authorizing amendment number 1 to the professional services agreement for the Madison Street Reconstruction Project.
And Todd, this is also you.
Sure. So this is the amendment to MSA's design contract to add construction services, which include the administration, the staking, and the observation. It's funded in our capital improvements accounts for engineering and all 3 utilities. That said, we do recommend moving forward with approval of the amendment.
Very good. Can I get a motion? Alder Hiley?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Thank you. And a second, Alder Furry?
Second.
Wonderful. Any other questions or any discussion? Seeing none, we are ready to call the roll.
Burnett,
Aye.
Paree,
Aye.
Flaherty,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Hiley,
Aye.
Keel,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Perkins.
Aye.
Wild.
Aye.
Yads,
Aye.
Zop,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Bonnet.
Aye.
And the motion carries. That brings us to resolution number 75.
Resolution number 75 2025, a resolution charging off delinquent miscellaneous accounts receivable.
And let's see, I don't know if Caleb, you were going to talk about this. I know it went through admin. Alder Zop, you
I
want to?
Briefly mention, we did discuss this, we did pass it, meaning that we recommended charging off the delinquent debt, sending it to collections. Of note, this seemed to be a recurring issue in Beaver Dam with assisted living centers not wanting to pay for services rendered by the fire department when they are called to help with a lift assist, meaning someone has fallen and they request assistance to lift that fallen individual up. So I was reassured that the fire department is doing everything in their power to try and get those funds. And there's really not much more we can do except send it to collections.
Okay, can I get a motion? Alder Keel,
I'll make that motion to approve.
thank you. And a second, Alder Burnett.
Second.
Very good. Any other questions or comments?
I guess I would have one.
Yeah, Alder Wild?
Just to alter, that, where's the fire department going to get those funds? You said they're working on getting funds for themselves. Did they say how they might raise those?
Right. So the city would recoup the funds through collection, right? So this would go to a debt collector.
Okay,
The debt collector would take a portion, the city
okay.
gets the remaining portion. But there's only so much we can do, and the city has exhausted those efforts. It's unfortunate that it's kind of a reoccurring issue with assisted living homes. So,
Thank you.
Good. Any other questions or comments? Then we are ready to call the roll.
Marie,
Aye.
Flaherty,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Hiley,
Aye.
Keel,
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Perkins.
Aye.
Wild,
Aye.
Yuds,
aye.
Zop,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Cornett,
Aye.
Burnett.
Aye.
And the motion carries. Next item up, discussion and possible action regarding tentative stewardship grant award notification for Swan Park Improvement Project. Todd, were you going to speak on that one?
Yep, I'll take this one. So I think to start, I'll bring you back probably a year ago, roughly, when we were doing our budget workshop, we had everybody knew we had submitted a stewardship grant for the same project. And at that point, we reported back that our scoring tied with two other communities, so they were only going to award us around $200,000. The decision was made at that point to forego the grant, roll the dice, and reapply in 2025. So we did end up reapplying in 2025, and it appears the gamble we took paid off. We did score well enough, and the DNR notified us a couple weeks ago that they had a tentative award in mind for $739,000 just for the trail portion of what we applied for. So there was two different things that were applied for, all part of the same project, but it was split out as the trails, and then the other part of it was the band shell and the amphitheater. So they were, the tentative award is just for the trails. There's nothing put towards the band shell or the amphitheater. That said, with stewardship, the $739,000, they expect a 50% match. And how we do that, we could do it with, obviously local funding, but we also have a pretty substantial amount of donations too. So where we sit right now is DNR has requested that council take action, basically saying they're going to accept or reject the tentative award before they move on with next steps, which is, going through their agreement process. So I think next, I did send out an updated financial summary late this afternoon. And I'll just bring that up on my screen so you can kind of see where we're at. So again, the two different sections of the grant, we have the multi-use trail and the band shell. Multi-use trail is about 1.6 million, the band shell and the amphitheater around $500,000. Again, the $739,000 of stewardship funding. And then I had Kayla take a deep dive on what we have on hand for donations right now. What you're seeing in this column are donations that were specifically for these projects, you know, that people designated, hey, I wanted to go for the trails or the band shell or the amphitheater. So that's what we have on hand for those projects. So this last column is what we would have to come up locally to fund those projects. I did put an asterisk by donations just because there are other non-designated funds that are just for general park improvements. And coincidentally, that amount is, I mean, these numbers are rounded, but they're, I mean, it's the same as what's in place for the trail. But those general funds could be used, you know, for either one of those projects, one, the other, or both. The other thing I have hanging out here, we did apply for a T-Mobile hometown grant, which is worth $50,000, and that would be applied to the band shell and amphitheater if we do end up getting that one. So I guess at this point, I'd throw it back to the council to see if we want to accept or reject, and then I can give DNR further direction of where we want to go.
So questions for Todd or comments? Alder Bonnet?
I probably have a few questions, Todd, but I guess following the numbers, the funds from the DNR are only for the multi-use trail. And then in the map, you have the multi-use trail around Swan Park.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only trail that we're talking about?
Right, it's all the trail work within Swan Park.
All right, thank you. So if we say yes to that DNR funding, we are obligated to spend how much?
Well, at this point, you're committing to coming up with the other 666,000 unless we somehow scale that project back.
So whatever, the math is basically anything, if we want this, we gotta spend this.
Right.
Any better.
I mean, we'd have to spend at least 739,000.
And we have 254 or something?
254.9 is what's specified to go to the trails.
So then we would budget the rest or wait for donations, and what is the timeline? I mean, if we say yes, do we have to commit within
So it would be a next year project. So it would have to go on the 26 CIP.
Thank you.
Good. Other questions or comments? Yeah, Alder Anderson?
Yeah, and I promise I'll be polite. This simply comes down to needs versus wants. Do we need it or do you want it because it looks nice and fancy? You know, I've heard it recently where it's, oh, everyone wants a mansion. Everyone would probably like a brand new car, but can you afford it? This is needs versus wants. I think the band shell and amphitheater, it is run down. It does need repair. I could choke down that project, but to put in new trails through the park, it's a waste in my opinion. We're being lured with the $700,000, but we're gonna spend nearly that we don't need to be spending. And yes, when you accept this, you're saying that is going on the budget. That's a non-negotiable item on the budget when we go through the budget talks. So again, it's needs versus wants. Do we really need the multi-use pass? You know, I'm sure it's gonna pass, but that's very unfortunate. Just now bring it up again. Do we really need 2 kayak launches? Because we see how much use they get. So that's all.
Alder Fisher?
You know, in the past, looking back at what Ken just said, we've come across this so many times over the last 8, 10 years. And it's one of the reasons we're $50 million in debt is because we keep borrowing money and spending money on things that we want that have nothing to do with the actual running of this city and the public utilities and public safety, etc. And I think that Ken just hit it right on the head, and I definitely am voting no. I do think that the other improvements at Swan City Park I could vote for, but certainly not new walking trails inside.
And I would just like to point out that the idea of wants versus needs, it's a little murky in this case, because if you look at the map, what you will see is that some of the trails that the grant is proposed to be spent for are brand new trails. There aren't trails there now, but some of them are existing trails that if, at some point the city is going to need to replace them and fix them. So some of it is, looking at the map, I'd say about half of them are the asphalt pathways that are already there that are going to have to be maintained by the city, one way or another. And then I would say maybe a little less than half are new walkways. So it's not like super clear cut. Yeah, Alder Burnett.
I don't know how many of you aldermen been down to Swan City Park to walk on them trails. I mean, you will see that they are not safe in the old part where the old asphalt trails are. And then not to mention just the uneven of the asphalt, but also you have water puddling in some spots where it gets really slippery. Half of this park is done and it looks beautiful. The other half needs replacing, and it's going to have to be done sometime. And if we can get a grant to help us do it, we're better off. Thanks.
Alder Yads.
A few years ago, maybe probably about 5 now, I was on a study for Swan City Park. And they said if we touch any of those walking paths, I believe, is it at least, is it 6 feet or 8 feet wide they gotta be? They gotta be wide enough to have two strollers.
Right, so 8 minimum.
Two strollers past each other without touching. So it'd be 8 feet. I'm assuming they're gonna be concrete then or blacktop or
They're concrete.
concrete. I mean, the blacktop lasted a long time down there. It's gonna be an easy access to be able to walk down and walk past you. Right now, if someone comes down, you gotta step off to the side. If someone walks past you in those paths. I mean, I don't like spending any more money than anybody else, but this project seems more important than the plaza downtown they want to put for a farmer's market. We're halfway done here. I mean, I can see the end of the tunnel here now. I mean, to get this one, then we can start working on the band shell. And it'll be almost done then, or will be done, I should say. It's sometimes you got to spend money wisely instead of being penny wise and, foolish. We kicked our roads down all these years and now we're paying for it. So this is another situation. Do you want to kick the can down the road and pay for it later again? I'm done.
Good. Any other questions or comments? Alder Perkins.
I do agree with you, Ken, about spending money and whatnot too, but I'm kind of torn because especially with some of the events we do down there, and one thing particularly is the rotary lights in the winter, and some of those pathways are really slick and bad with the ice. And I know part of that's just because of their age, someone slipping and falling on that, and this might actually help with that too. So it's actually a safety thing at the end of the day too, I think, for some of those events that we have there. Thanks.
Yeah, Alder Flaherty.
I don't disagree with anything that's been said on the floor thus far on either side. I can see the plan on the screen. And yes, those areas do need some updating at some point. But I will say that I do share the budgeting concerns that have been voiced by other alders. I've seen a lot of big numbers come across my desk since coming onto the council with a lot of zeros and a lot of very vital things, you know, sewer line replacements, streets that are used by lots of citizens every day. Yes, this is one of our crown jewel parks. It absolutely should be improved. It should be the best it can be. I'm concerned about budgeting, and whenever it comes up this way, I get a little bit resentful when a necessary repair is tied to an elective. It feels like an arm twist to me, and I never liked the feeling, but I'll look past that. These are my feelings on the issue. I guess I'm in favor of improving the park, but I don't want to put us off of our budget to do it when it could be feasibly done in another year, possibly. The grant obviously is time sensitive. I know that, but this seems, yes, that there are things in it that are necessary, but it seems that a portion of it is indeed elective. That's all. Thank you.
Alder's up.
Todd, you mentioned that there was another $250,000 in additional unmarked funding. So if we applied that, we'd be down to about 900,000-ish in funds that we would need to do everything. Has staff, well, question one, I mean, budget season's coming. Has there been discussions about how to fund a $900,000 improvement? And then was there any alternative where we could delay the band shell because there's no grant tied to the band shell, right? So is there a way to delay that one a year so that we're able to push through the trail and then come back through next year with the band shell?
Certainly. I mean, I think that's the obvious piece that could be taken out. There is no funding tied to it. As far as what else is coming up with the budget, I guess we have not gotten that far yet, so.
So really, one question before us today is, you know, are we willing to do the multi-use trail, apply the $250,000 to it, and we're looking at an impact of or budgeting for what 660 minus 250, like $400,000 this year that we're on the hook for regardless, so that we don't lose out on our grant funding, and then we could commit to that and then talk through the band shell at budgeting season. I mean, because when would you put this out for bid? Next summer, spring? If we accept it, you bid it.
We'd bid it over winter.
Over winter. So we'd have budgeting done before you bid. Okay. All right. I mean, I'd like to see it. I mean, the map that you showed, there's no paths to the band shell. You're walking through grass if you're coming from the north side where a lot of people park. My barber and I discussed this, and he's a conservative guy, and he's like, if you guys put money anywhere into a park, that's the park you put it into. So, and we talked about this today. So he's like, if you put money anywhere, that's the park you put it in. So I think there's a lot of support in the city for this, and we do have that $250,000 in donations, and it would be an insult not to act on our citizens that are supporting it. Right. So thank you.
Okay, I have one comment and a question before we take more comments. My one comment is I have met with the Swan, the Friends of Swan Park group that has been doing this fundraising. And they see this, if the council approves this grant from the DNR, they see it as an opportunity as another springboard for continued fundraising. They've kind of been on hold because they had a big capital campaign push and they raised a bunch of money, and they did the splash pad and they did the lagoons and the bridges, and then the contributions kind of trickled out. And so they see this and the publicity that this could give them as an opportunity to do another major capital push. So of course there are no guarantees, but there is potential that the $250 some in donations could increase if they are successful. They are planning this fall to do another campaign. So, and then my question, Todd, is I'm assuming that if we tell the DNR, yes, we want the grant, but then as we go through the budgeting process, we find out that in reality, that's not very feasible. At that point, can we reject the grant?
Yeah, because we still need to sign an agreement with them. So yeah, it's not a done deal. If it goes through tonight, they still need to come back with an agreement that council would need to approve.
And I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Does the DNR let you like break that amount up into two budgets, like over 2 years?
It's in
Yeah,
all our-
I didn't think so. Okay, thank you. So what other comments or questions do you have? Yeah, Alder Brunette?
This is my last one on this, but, why would we want to have our crown jewel only half handicapped accessible? 'Cause that's the way it is now.
Alder Flaherty?
Alder Zopp's remarks about a lack of paths around the band shell rung true with me, having looked out from the band shell stage and seen it myself. So yes, this is something that needs to happen. But I will say this just as a general comment. It does get weary to me hearing it would be an insult if you don't vote yes on this. That's an arm twist. I don't like it. But I'm in support of this now. Thank you.
Alder Anderson?
I would also agree. However, it doesn't really offend me, but after the discussion I had with the mayor slapping my wrist, I hope that other people get the same talking to that I got talked to. Now above and beyond that, I am also pleased to see that so many aldermen see this as the crown jewel and like all the events here and want all the events here. And they admit that if we spend any money, it should be spent here in this park. Because for about, I don't know, 8 years, it's been downtown or bust. And that's what they should. We've dropped so much money into the downtown. It could have went to revive this park. So you can't have it both ways. Everyone's admitting here that this is a great park. It's a crown jewel. We need to push everything here. This is great. It should be a focus. We should bring everyone here. So just keep that in your mind when you want to spend all this money in downtown. Thank you.
Okay, any last comments? Yeah, Alder Bennett?
Yeah, this is a question of Todd, and it's kind of a silly one perhaps, but can we have the DNR reduce the amount that we would have to match?
Probably, but I don't know if anybody's ever done that.
Well, it cut, whatever they cut down, we cut down. But
I'm sure they'd give it to somebody else, Joe.
DNR, what's the response?
I think it's possible, but not recommended.
Okay.
Good. Any other comments or questions? Alder Wild?
I do have one. Okay, this is supposed to be split up between the trail and the band shell. Let's say you start out on the trail and you use all of it up. I mean, then we're gonna just have to come up and use this 254 plus whatever else we get on the band shell. It's not like we're going against the grant, correct?
Right, the grant only covers the trails. It
Only
doesn't
the
cover
trails.
anything on the band shell or the amphitheater.
Okay.
Last chance. Any other comments or questions? Okay, and since this isn't an actual resolution or it's not even an actual vote, at this point, if I could just get maybe a thumbs up if you want us to pursue including this in the upcoming budget discussions. So thumbs up would mean yes, and thumbs down would mean no. Okay, I see 2 noes and 11 yeses. So we will see if we can put this in the budget somewhere. Very good. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Alder Burnett?
Motion to adjourn.
And a second? Everybody, I guess.
Second.
Thank you, Alder Wild. Very good. Have a good evening.